What is up, everybody? Welcome in to the Bat Flip, where we discuss everything baseballs. I'm Landon Raby. With me, Dylan Taylor. Also got Deuce Thomas in the background. Appreciate you guys tuning in. And this is our first depressing episode of the season. And I mean, the last time Tennessee lost an SEC series was over a year ago, at home. I guess at home. So that complete 180 from Friday to Saturday. I'm all in on doubleheaders should be banned. I hate them. They suck. And yeah, we're going to talk about it a little bit. I mean, we shouldn't spend too much on it. Tennessee shouldn't either. They should move on. Let's get to Alabama State on Tuesday, and then let's get on to Oxford and take on Lane Kiffin and Mike Bianco. I'm ready for that. Ready to kind of move forward. I mean, A&M. I mean, there wasn't a team in the country that was going to beat A&M on Saturday. They played that well, and from being shut out, no hit, run rule, to what they did on Saturday was incredible. I mean, they had 11 home runs. Is that right? 11 home runs. Tennessee had given up 17 home runs the entire year until Saturday, and they gave up 11.
Outscored us 26-9.
Yeah. It just wasn't fun. I mean, we were talking about it the other night. It's like Tennessee had 10 hits in both those games on Saturday, and I mean, you just got your pitching. That's what it was. You just got drilled. Throwing it over the plate, getting too much of the plate. I know the umpire was squeezing you a little bit, but you got to find a way to get some outs, keep the ball in the park. And I mean, the only thing that was going to keep some balls in the park was apparently the wind when Andrew Fisher hits the ball. That was the only thing going to keep it in. And that's what it felt like to me. It was like that first game on Saturday, you had some errors go against you. I know at one point, I think Nate Snead was pitching, and I think there was a runner on third. I think it was a 4-3 game, and you get the strikeout, and it gets past Stone Lawless, and a run scores to make it 5-3. Like that would have been to get out of the inning. And then Andrew Fisher's home run gets pushed in play about 180 to 100 feet, and they rob it. To even make that play is tough anyway, but with the wind blowing in, like it's hard to judge. And of course, he just makes the perfect play. Antigua, I mean, he barreled baseballs all weekend long, and he could not find a hole, it seemed like. So it was just kind of that kind of weekend for Tennessee, especially on Saturday, that you're just like, it just wasn't meant to be. And it sucks that what you did on Friday is just kind of overshadowed by what happened in that doubleheader on Saturday.
Yeah, it's sucks. I'm not as worried about it just because it did. You had the two polar opposites. Like it wasn't like you lost those games where you. I mean, I guess you did genuinely get outplayed, but it wasn't. You didn't play your best and got beat by another team. So that's part of it. And the other part is, yeah, I mean I don't look for torpedo bats. Maybe I don't know what your team up there started all that. So I don't. maybe they made their way to College Station this series. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, I mean, yeah, guys pounded the zone probably too much. I mean, you've got away with it. Don't even want to say got away with it because, I mean, you got talented guys that can pound the zone, mix pitches, but it's like they were sitting on everything. I've got no problem pounding the zone. I'd rather lose that way, even though it is embarrassing, than walks to death. So there's that. But at the same time, it's like they knew what was coming the entire time. After what we just said, Friday they couldn't have looked more off. So I chalk it up to that's the game of baseball. I mean, yeah, there's you got to play better. I think this will probably work out being just fine in the long term. I don't think this is going to be anything too worrisome. It's just it was weird. Haven't seen, like you said, haven't seen anything like that in since 2023 now, and even then, I don't think it was in that fashion of just the complete two polar opposites to end the series. So very confusing. It sucks. I'm not that worried about it long term, but just odd. Chalk it up to I don't know what that was.
Yeah. I mean, it felt like the way Tennessee lost that series. It's kind of the way they've beaten teams. Like you just kind of got beat by your own game. You're working counts, drawing walks, and then boom, home run, and then another home run. Like it just came in bunches. Like it was like an avalanche, especially in that second game. I think in the fourth and fifth inning, like all their runs basically came in those 2 innings. Um, yeah, it was just tough to watch. I mean, your bullpen got beat. I mean, Nate Snead got hammered. Marcus Phillips, I think, pitched good enough to win. Like he only gave up 4 earned runs in 4 2/3, had 6 strikeouts, but it was he still gave up some runs, and Tennessee wasn't able to tack it on, so he was still in for the loss when he came out of the game. But Nate Snead has looked good these last couple series. Braden Krenzel out of the bullpen has looked good, and they just got kind of tattooed on Saturday. Tanner Franklin gave up 3 earned runs, but he had 5 strikeouts. Braden Sharp got drilled. I mean, there's guys that have pitched in quite a bit of SEC series so far and just got shelled on Saturday. I don't know what it was. I mean, I'm sure like losing that first game of the doubleheader, you're kind of like, oh crap, like momentum is gone. You don't get a day to kind of reset, kind of like A&M did, and you just have to trot back out there and like hopefully it's not as bad. And A&M just kept rolling from there.
Yeah, I mean, to Marcus Phillips, I mean that I know I'm his supporter here, but it like you said, I mean it wasn't the best we've seen him this year, but I mean you can win ball games with what he put up pretty easily. I mean, nothing special, but it could get the job done. The problem was that was probably your best pitching performance out of those 2 games. I don't think anybody else that came in really had much positive for an extended period of time. At least it was kind of a revolving door, and everybody was letting the door hit them on the way out. So not to bash on Marcus Phillips, not his best, but it's a problem when what he put up is the best you're getting in the doubleheader, because that's especially with, like you said, the amount of guys we threw, which isn't anything out of the ordinary, but it didn't seem like any of them were an option to get you out of an inning at any point. It was I don't know. They were sitting on we've talked about all the different guys that come in and all the different looks they bring, and they all look exactly the same to Texas A&M. So
yeah, and the crazy thing is, like in those 2 games on Saturday, you had 14 strikeouts apiece between your. So I mean, the strikeouts were there, like you said, they're pumping the zone. It was just barrel after barrel. Like it was either a home run or a strikeout, is what it felt like.
Yeah,
it was very much an Aaron Judge type game for Texas A&M.
It was one of those times too where I mean, if you can get 6 to 7 opportunities throughout a game, if you can hit on 2 or 3 of them like that, that's going to be. I mean, we know the stats of baseball. If you're on a third of your opportunities converting, you're going to be a pretty good club. A lot of times, in the last couple of years with Tennessee, we've seen they've been even better than that. Texas A&M, it seemed like if you gave them 6 or 7 chances, they were converting on all of them 5 to 7 times. I mean, there's something to be said for doing just enough to win. If they got a pitch, they did not miss it, and I don't care who it is. We've talked about. I mean, they certainly did not look like that at any point in this season so far. So I mean, there's no way to know now. We'll have to see. Maybe this is kind of a turning point for them in the season, because I mean it's random, but it's not a fluke. I mean, you got to have talented guys in the box. They got talented guys on their roster. They just had injury problems. So, are they starting to figure some things out? I mean, that kind of would make you feel a little bit better. But yeah, they didn't miss on any chances. It's like if they got a strikeout, it's like somebody was going to get on base next, and somebody was going to hit a home run to convert on
Yeah.
it. You just when you're playing a team like that where you literally can't make any mistakes. Once you make one, the floodgates can kind of open, and they did.
Yeah, I just don't know how you go from Friday night where you
Yeah,
don't get a single hit to scoring 26 runs the next day. Like it again, I guess that series was drunk, and I think that's what you chalk it up as is just it happened, it sucked. There's no really rhyme or reason for it. It just was baseball. It was crazy, and move on to the next series. I mean, if you're picking which one you'd rather lose, if you got to lose one to A&M in 2025 or 2024, I guess you're picking 2025.
yeah. If it meant the result of last year, they could have shut it. They could have no hit us the all three games and
Yeah,
each game. So
yeah.
I'll tell you. Is Texas A&M, are they a day baseball team? Is that it, or are they the Chicago Cubs? Do they play at night and suck, and then during the day they just see it better? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I don't know. But I mean, I've been asked like, does Tennessee have a problem in the bullpen? I was like, I mean, they haven't. Dylan Lloyd's look good. Nate Snead's look good. Krenzel's look good. Arvidsson, I think, looked good in this series. I mean, they have dudes. So I'm not gonna sit here and say like Tennessee's got some issues. Maybe it's a wake up call. Be like, hey, like maybe you're not as good as you think you are, or you can't just throw fastballs 95 miles an hour down the center of the plate and expect teams to not turn on it. So I don't know. That was just you got. I mean, Dalton Margot said it best. We got our teeth kicked in.
I I alluded to that earlier in the year with Phillips. Like he watching throughout his development how much more he was able to work the corners instead of just living in the middle. He was the least of the problems doing that this weekend. It seems like everybody kind of had that problem of, hey, we're going to throw it over the plate and make you hit it, and they just kept hitting it, and it's like there wasn't really an adjustment. So you put it best. I think it was drawn. Like, because I to the person that says, do we have a problem? You can't have a problem with the amount of arms we've got. That's one side of it. And then on the flip side, the amount of quality arms you got too. Like, so it's not a problem unless it, next series and then the next series keeps happening. But I chalk that up to a fluke too, because with the amount of arms you got, and like I said, the quality of that, I don't see it happening again. Which again, that just doesn't really provide an answer, because it's like, how did it happen this time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the first game on Saturday, it wasn't out of hand until late. Like, I mean, that was still a 2-run ball game in the seventh inning. Um, the thing that killed you on the second game, yeah, the home runs in that fourth and fifth inning. I think you gave up 6 home runs in those 2 innings. But a big thing was you had runners on base. You had 7 walks. Like Tennessee fills up the zone. They don't. You're not going to pitch very long at Tennessee if you're walking people. Um, that's why Burns got moved to the. I mean, he was getting drilled, but also he was walking people. And when you're getting drilled and walking people, you give up tons of runs. You give up crooked numbers, and you're not going to pitch very long. So Tennessee needs to figure that. I mean, Franklin, he had 3 walks. Coons had 3 walks. They've been really good at filling up the zone. So, again, I guess we kind of chalk this up as it didn't make any sense. So let's not try to make sense of it.
No.
Just move on to the next series. You get an Ole Miss team that's really good. The bad thing about this series is it was at home. And you don't – I mean, yeah, you get some like – then it makes like those road series more important. And the road series that you have Oxford this weekend, you've got LSU, you've got Arkansas on the road. I mean, it doesn't get easier from here to continue to win series. So you have to take care of the teams. And when you jump out to a 10-0 lead and destroy them in game 1, like you have to find a way to get a win in game 2 or 3. It sucks it was a doubleheader, but you got to find a way to win that first game. So game 3 isn't it doesn't hurt you as bad, and you have that momentum still in your hands.
Yeah, you're not traveling to Missouri this year. You've got, I mean, the three locations you just listed off. I mean, that's the three premier. Unless you can think of somebody I can't. That's the three top locations I can think of right there where it's hard to go in and win a series. Ole Miss, Arkansas, LSU. I mean, that is the three premier spots where it's hardest in the SEC to get a win. So
Yeah.
Liam Doyle, I mean, he's your workhorse regardless. He's going to have to be these next three series if you want to rebound, which I think he will be, especially for Ole Miss. I mean, he's going to be fired up for that one. So
Him and Andrew Fisher. I mean, they got to be dogs this weekend.
he's
And they have been, but I mean, this is a little something extra. You want to kind of rewrite the ship a little bit and get back on track. This is the way to do that. And it is to your best players going against their former team. Is I know that's probably difficult on their end. A lot of expectation, a lot of pressure, but I think those two guys like the pressure. If we're being honest.
I know Liam Doyle does. That you're not that much of a psycho without enjoying it a little bit. And I mean, Fisher, his biggest problem if he keeps swinging is just the wind. Check the forecast in Oxford. So I mean, I don't.
Yeah, that's insane.
That and somebody throwing a beer bottle in the air and knocking the ball down. That's going to be the issue in Oxford. But I
mean, we should have just ended the series then. I mean, it was over.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, just nothing comes easy, but yeah, this is a big series coming up in Oxford, and they've been decent. I think they're ranked top 10-ish most of the time. Do you know what they did last weekend?
No, I know they're number 6. We're number 5 right now, which kind of I was going to ask you, is that not kind of a steep drop for Tennessee? I know the way the last two games went, but from number 1 to 5, I don't. That seems steep to me. I don't know.
I'm totally with you. I had a tweet about it today that I don't think A&M is a bad baseball team.
No.
But the way they dropped Tennessee says that they thought they were a really bad baseball team.
Yeah, which I agree with you. They're very talented and they're well coached. They're just hurt. I mean,
they're hurt and they've lost a lot of games that they shouldn't have.
Retroactively, I don't know that boosts you. I mean, I don't really care. I'm fine with us not being number 1. That's more of just kind of, a stats and, 10 years from now, look back at, Tennessee was number 1 for this many weeks, this many months in a row. Like that's all that is really good for. Tony Vitello, I'm sure he'd rather not be number 1 too. That's just more ammo he can use to fire him up now. So from that perspective, I don't really care. But it's just from the national perspective of getting dropped that far. I know how the last two games went. If any other team's fan base want to chime in, I get that. But at the same time, have you not watched the rest of the season? Like I don't know. That's. If we would have lost like that and, 3 starters got injured and, they're done for the year, sure, I understand it then. But at the same time, like it's baseball. Things like that are going to happen. Tennessee's not going to be the last team that's going to happen to. They're probably not going to be the last very highly ranked team that's going to happen to. So, yeah, I had to throw that out there. I don't know.
Yeah, I was with you. I didn't think that Tennessee should have dropped that much over – because, I mean, there was a lot riding on this. Like, there was the revenge factor, what happened in Omaha last year. There was a lot of that going on. And then, like, A&M played good. Friday night wasn't good, but they played really well on Saturday. But I think of it as, like, Tennessee was number 1. They were so good. They had one bad day of baseball. It wasn't like multiple days. It wasn't a Saturday and Sunday. It was 2 games, but it was one day of bad baseball. So I did think it was a bit excessive to drop them that far.
Ole Miss, by the way, took 2 out of 3 from Kentucky. They lost Friday 4-5 in extras, and then won Saturday. No, sorry, that's a Thursday, Friday. No, they played 2 on Friday. It looks like.
That's right. They did play 2 on Friday.
first one on Friday went to extras and they lost. They won 3-1 and then won 5-4 in 12 innings on Saturday. So nothing special there.
They already played Texas. Is that right? Why did they play Texas in that? Like early in the Shriners showdown.
And they have 2 midweek games. They play Memphis Tuesday, Alcorn State Wednesday. Keep an eye on that. After two extra inning games this weekend, if I was them, I'd be looking to cancel one of those midweek games. That's your bullpen. Your bullpen already after 2 extra inning games in an SEC series, and then 2 midweek games. Got to wonder if they're gonna have some arms hanging, possibly.
Yeah,
I ain't complaining, but just something to watch.
Yeah, they're a team that they played Arkansas. They lost that series. They took 2 of 3 from Florida. They swept Missouri, and then they played Kentucky. They've had some. I mean, if you're looking at an SEC schedule right now, like those 3 teams that they've beaten they're 3 of the worst, I would say, other than maybe South Carolina. They're pretty bad.
They're all close too. Florida, they won the series, but it was 7-5, 10-9, and then lost 8-11. I mean, they're everywhere I'm looking. You are what your record says you are, I guess, but I would think Tennessee's going to be able to get back.
Yeah, and Kentucky was close too. I mean, they lost that first one. They won 3-1 and won 5-4 in extra. You said so.
You know that game tomorrow from Memphis is big too. If it is like any other sport, Memphis is going to be fired up to play that one. That's a ETSU series right there where they always besides this year, they always come in kind of ready to start something. That won't be an easy game tomorrow.
No. Yeah, looking forward to kind of washing the slate clean and getting on to another series. I mean, not a lot to talk about. I think it looks like Cannon Peebles is your catcher this week, I guess. We talk about it differently, I feel like, every week. But Stone Wallace had a bad game that first game on Saturday. I think he gave up 5 steals. He had an error. He let that ball get past him on a strikeout. I think he had 1 hit, had a couple strikeouts. So just not a great day at the ballpark for Stone Wallace. Cannon Peebles, I mean, he was kind of a bright spot for Tennessee on Saturday in that last game, had a couple hits, and he looked a lot better. Hopefully he just finds some confidence. I think that's all it is with him. I mean, obviously he is your best defensive catcher, but that bat just needs a little bit of juice to get him going.
I think he's finding a little bit of confidence too. We didn't get to talk about it last week, but against South Carolina, he had the second game. It was the Saturday game, 7-5 is what it wound up. It was going to be one of my big points last week where I was really encouraged by hopefully he's starting to find it. He made a bad play in the field, which is unlike him. On the play at the plate, he dropped back behind the plate, caught the ball, and tried to dive forward and make the tag, and just didn't. If it's a short hop, I get having him back up like that because you don't want it to get by you. I don't remember if there was another runner behind, but especially in that situation, you don't want the ball getting by you. But in a situation like that where you got to make the play, unless it's just an incredible, like right up on you short hop, you got to kind of stand your ground right there at the plate and make the play. Him backing up like that just killed any chance he had of making the tag and making it competitive to get the out at home. But then the next inning, I think that was the tying run. Next inning, he comes back with the shot to right center. So, and gave him the lead from there. So that was a nice sign. He, like you said, he's normally solid in the field. So seeing him make that mistake was pretty rare. And I'm sure he heard about it too, but maybe that fired him up a little bit too to go out to the plate next inning. And he had a no doubter to almost the deepest part of the park. So hopefully he's finding his groove now that we've been looking for since he got here. Because if he can take that mentality of, okay, well, I'll make up for it, then he's gonna be dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing with this weekend, like it wasn't the bats. Like again, I think you had 9 hits in that first game. I think the second game you had 10 hits. So like, yeah, you'd probably like to see a little bit more home runs, but I mean, Andrew Fisher's would have been a bomb. It got sent back. I think Antigua probably had a one that went oppo that looked like it got blown in a little bit more. Maybe that one gets out on a normal day. Um, Inslee and Bargo remain really hot. I think Dean Curley played well in this series. At top of the lineup, those top four guys played. I thought hit the ball really well and had a lot of timely hits too. Friday night stands out. Some bombs in that one. I think Hunter Inslee hit the single one on. Was that the second game on Saturday?
I think so.
Yeah. But yeah, those Inslee and Bargo, those two guys came in like some of the hottest hitters in the SEC, and they're continuing that. I think Andrew Fisher is hitting really well. We mentioned that home run that got robbed. I guess it got kind of robbed twice, if we're being honest. It got robbed of the home run, and then it ended up being an out. Um, but yeah, that was good to see. Kind of the lineup was they played good enough to win all weekend long. I thought Jay Abernathy did some nice things. I thought Antigua squared up some balls. The average probably isn't insane, but I thought he had a lot of plays that like should have been hits. They just made a nice play in the infield. Usually that he likes hitting in between short and third. He loves that gap right there, and they made some good plays. He had some small balls. He bunted once. I think he got some move runners over. Like I thought he played good enough to hold his own. Even though the bat probably isn't clicking, I think he's looking more and more comfortable in the box.
And the bats still look like that. The lineup still looks solid like that without probably your best hitter in it. Still, I mean, Gavin's still not there, so that's fine.
Need to get him back.
Yeah, but he and you look at it from really high view, like, oh, we got our teeth kicked in Saturday. Like the series wasn't a blowout. Like it was 26-19 in the run differential. I mean, that's nothing crazy there. So I don't remember the last time I've seen a series like this where it was just that two complete opposite ends of the spectrum from one day to the next. And you had a good point earlier about it just it being a bad day, and you had unlucky you had two games in a bad day. So yeah, my worry level has it sucked watching it, but even then I'm kind of like this. It's going to happen every now and then. We've seen it happen before where it seems like sometimes we need one of these. It seems like it's been more midweek games under Vitello. So this makes it hurt a little bit worse because, like you said, it is a home SEC series. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. On a 1 to 10 worry scale, I'm still at like a 3 maybe. Like I don't think it's going to mean much in the long term. I think it'll be more of a positive moving forward. But
I just with Frank Anderson –
yeah.
Like if it's your pitching, Frank Anderson's going to get that under control.
Yeah.
If the bats weren't hitting as well, I think we would have a lot more to worry about, obviously. But yeah, I'm not going to put too much stock into this weekend just because it was just a total 180. And as long as you play better this weekend, I wouldn't really worry about it. I mean, my thoughts are Frank Anderson's going to figure this out.
And everybody else will forget about it too if you just play better this weekend. And
you go sweep in Oxford. No one cares what you did against A&M.
The voters might, apparently. The voters seem to weigh things differently.
Yeah.
The vote on the polls. I don't know. But, I
mean, they wanted to put Arkansas up at number 1 forever anyway. Whatever. Yeah.
And like I said, I think Tony probably prefers this. It's probably – he can't use it as much recruiting, but, hey, when you've got we won the whole thing last year. Don't look at the number next to us. I'd say this is probably a net positive for him too. I think he's probably gotten to not be as Mr. Nice Guy, joyful about everything. He's probably got to bring out the fiery Tony V a little bit this week. He likes doing that. So
yeah,
probably been a good week for him, honestly.
And like we already broke the curse of being the number one overall seed, so I mean, I guess you're welcome, Arkansas. If you want to, if you have that at the end of the year, we've already broken it. So,
No way
and
number ones win it back to back years, so I prefer they take it.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Us go MVP of the weekend. Unless you got kind of anything more on
No,
this team other than Liam Doyle's awesome and looking forward to another Friday night and got him in Oxford. That would be fun to go to. That's going to be must see TV.
oh, I'm fired up for it.
Yeah,
It's I I think the whole team's probably going to enjoy it, especially for them. You know, that you see this a lot in other sports too. It fires the rest of the guys up too, and it motivates them just because they want to do good for their guys. So
yeah,
we factor that in to coming off. You know how this weekend just went. It's gonna be electric. That's for sure. You hope your team's on the positive end of it, but either way, I'd say this is going to be a really fun series.
yeah, 100%. My MVP, I'm going to go with Dean Curley. I thought he was really good at the plate, 5 for 12 on the weekend, 3 RBIs, 5 runs scored. He's just doing a really good job at the. I know there's people that are like, oh yeah, let's lead off Gavin or Jay Abernathy. Dean Curley's just steady Eddie, and he works counts.
Yeah.
I think he's a guy you trust with 2 strikes early in the game, and yeah, he's hitting the ball really well. I think he's had a hit, at least one hit in 10 out of his last 11 games. So hitting the ball really well at the top of the lineup, and just I think he's kind of like Hunter Ensley, like just consistent. Like it's not just crazy numbers right now like Gavin was doing, but he's hitting the ball really well. So I'm gonna go Dean Curley, my MVP.
That makes mine easy then. I was sure you were taking Liam, so I'll take Liam then. Although
Okay,
I kind of don't want to. I kind of don't. I mean, I have to because the way
he is co-SEC pitcher of the week, so you kind of have to.
yeah, I kind of have to. I don't want to just because I want him even more pissed off for this week.
Mm-hmm.
So if he asks, I didn't give it to him, but to everyone else, I did give it to him. So
Okay, I like that. I like that. Well, it was awesome being back in Lindsay Nelson on a Friday. I got to go there, did some hot dog reviews with Jack DeLongshaw from 11.7 and D1 Baseball. And then, I mean, the guest of the weekend was Carly Beam. Drew Beam's sister was in the hot dog review. So awesome to see that. Awesome to see, like, the Dolander make his MLB debut. You saw Blake Burke get his first professional home run. Billy Amick had a really good weekend of baseball against Blake Burke's team. So, yeah, just good to see those guys, get started and getting hot early. Can't wait for until they're all kind of sprinkled around the MLB.
I saw it too. It may have been you that tweeted? I don't remember. Was it true that Burke's home run that he hit, his first home run, was off the Southern Best guy that he took to the building back behind the trees?
Yeah, I think Blake Burke's sister commented on a post that I did and said it, and then I had to fact check it. I was like, dude, I mean, I tweeted it first because I was like, I'm so excited to tweet this. And then I'm like, holy crap, what if that's not true? And it is true. I did look it up.
All you got to see is how far he flew.
I think his last name's Hall. Yeah, dude, you don't ever pitch to Blake Burke ever again.
That the one at the college, I mean, this one was almost equally as impressive. Just to be able to do it again off that guy in the pros, just to let him know you still got his number. But the one at college, I mean, that remains one of the biggest pimp jobs I've ever seen.
No doubter.
Level, location, person. I mean, and he had some good ones. He had some good no doubters in his time here, and he's going to have a lot more. But that one probably takes the cake. I mean, I know there were probably bigger ones as far as moment goes, but good Lord, you talk about before he even swung the bat, you knew where that one was going. And he did not. He Texas A&M'd it this week. He did not.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I mean, Blake Burke's a guy. They're like, maybe we should. How do we get where we can hit balls like that. And they're like, okay, torpedo bats. Like he gave them the idea for torpedo bats. Blake Burke did.
You should love it. He's going to be traded to your Yankees next. So
I'm looking forward to it. That will be awesome. We need a first baseman, so I'm all for that. Well, that's all we got. We'll be back next week. Thank y'all so much for listening, and let's get back to winning. Let's do that. Thank y'all again. Have a good week, and we're out.